Meet Doug and Betty Davis. 47 years ago, they were pastoring the tremendous church God had called them to plant in Fort Worth, Texas. The church had outgrown 3 successive church buildings, and their family had just experienced the privilege of moving into a brand new home. Then, once again, the Davises heard the voice of God. New York City needed a church, and the Lord needed a church planter. They arrived in Long Island on July 1st, 1968, aided by $5,000 of Christmas for Christ funds. No other significant monetary assistance would be received by the fledgling church. In the early years, Pastor Davis drove a school bus and painted houses to support his family. Their sacrifice was great, and many times they did without. Like so many church planters, they never complained or told anyone. They considered sacrifice to be the price paid by pioneers in the work. If God had called them, then surely He would provide for them, and did He ever. The first church building was a small storefront. There were 9 in attendance, and 7 of those were family members. This core group of people would experience both the hardships and miracles that accompany starting a new work. Over the last 47 years, this little church plant has grown into a world-reaching and life-giving revival church. What started in a small storefront now occupies a state-of-the-art facility that seats 1,000 on a beautiful 20-acre lot. At an average attendance of over 850, they are rapidly outgrowing their present building. The $5,000 investment made in a small church plant has seen manifold returns. Thousands of souls have been impacted, and millions of dollars have been shared with missions around the world. Thank you, Bethel United Pentecostal Church, and thank you, Brother and Sister Davis, for hearing the call of God and for your willingness to become the next one. Meet Raul and Alicia Orozco. In March of 1986, the voice of God launched the Orozcos on the journey to church planting just south of Los Angeles, California. Services began in their home with a handful of folks and soon filled a small rented church building in the city of Bell Gardens. Growing quickly, the congregation at La Senda Antigua stepped out in faith to purchase their first building in the city of Norwalk. This pattern of growth and expansion has continued ever since. For over 20 years, the church has hosted a daily radio broadcast, with a network of spiritual and financial support from its members, the participation of every member in prayer, intercession, soul winning, leadership seminars and workshops, and over 4,000 attendees at an annual conference, Tiempo de Cosecha. LSA has impacted Greater Los Angeles, its surrounding areas, and nations around the world. Pastor Orozco has focused on training and releasing young men and women to plant 35 daughter works and preaching points. Today, some of the daughter works have grown larger than the mother church in both attendance and facility. This Sunday, at least 4,500 people will meet in the multi-campus churches of La Senda Antigua, making it one of the largest United Pentecostal churches in North America. Within the span of 30 years, the church that began in the Orozco's living room has become a network of strong, growing churches in the Los Angeles area. Brother Orozco currently serves as the Director of Spanish Evangelism Ministries of the United Pentecostal Church. Thank you, Brother and Sister Orozco, for heeding the call of God to plant churches. Thank you, La Senda Antigua, for equipping and releasing ministries to be the next one to 35 different campuses around Los Angeles. Gracias por ser el próximo. And God's voice continues to call. Ministry opportunities abound. Is God asking you to release a minister to start a preaching point across town? Will you be the next pastor to launch a daughter work near you? Are you called to be the next church planter to one of the many North American counties that currently have no apostolic church? Will you go behind the fences and bars of a prison house to minister with the Christian Prisoner Fellowship? Will your district sponsor the next church in a day? Is God asking you to be the next evangelist to this generation? Will you be the next Metro missionary to reach for millions of souls in cities like Boston, Chicago, or Salt Lake City? Who will hear His voice today? Who will obey? Who will go? Will you be the next one? The next one. The next one.